Speaking of safe havens, the story in the FT about the rise in safe spaces for keeping gold, jewellery, watches, whatever, prompted us to wonder about what we were seeing here in the UAE. We're coming up to summer. We are talking travel on the show this morning. We're going to have Tanata on in about 10 minutes. So do those two things cross over? Are we seeing a rise in the use of personal vaults ahead of the traditional summer travel season? Jasfer Rashid is the CFO of MySafe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So what are you seeing? Are we all comfortable wearing our Rolex abroad, or are we stashing it here?
Of course, we're stashing it here because nobody wants to take the risk, travel with their highly valuable assets. So everybody wants to do their vacation with a peace of mind. And so we see a high spike during the summer season. Obviously, people want to store and use in the secure storage facilities.
What kind of spike?
In general, the summer season gives about 30 to 40%. But during these times, when I say these times, this is the conflicts times where, geopolitical situation happens. We have seen a nearly 86%, I'm being very specific, 86% spike over the last couple of months in terms of, new customers coming on board to our facilities.
Right, so that's geopolitics just sort of concentrating people's minds there.
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. It's a difficult reality. I mean, the insecurity, volatility is a force multiplier of our industry.
And you've got not just one location for, we'll call them safe deposit boxes here in the UAE. You've got multiples. Talk me through where you are.
That's correct. Yeah. So we have, just in Dubai, we have 6 locations across the whole of Dubai, and we are also operating in 4 different regions, namely USA, East Africa, and India.
And those locations largely in free zones like JLT, or in hotels like on the Palm?
Most of which are in hotels, but not just in hotels. We also operate in mainland. So we have facilities in Palm Jumeirah, Kempinski Hotel. We have at Grand Hyatt Hotel, Oud Mehta. But we also have at the Souk Al Manzil next to Burj Khalifa, which is at the mainland.
Why have multiple locations? Why not just have one large sort of central facility?
Of course, to cater the needs of the people at different specific areas, because, and this is, we believe, when we brought into this business, we don't want to operate like a traditional safe deposit box industry. And so what we have brought into the market is the convenience, the accessibility, and the topmost privacy and security, which are the fundamental pillars of our business. So in order to provide that convenience and accessibility, and that's where, we have had 6 locations at different regions to cater the needs and to provide the accessibility of the different, communities.
Talk to me about that. Privacy. Do you know what people are storing with you?
No.
Are there any rules about what people can't store?
Of course. They can only store what is legal, and what is illegal is obviously comes under the illegal category, and all the laws applies for that.
But if you don't know what I'm storing, how would you know if it was illegal?
We'll get to know once the police comes and catch you up.
Do you need to know who I am? Do you need to take my passport, my Emirates ID?
Of course, we do need to take your national identity. This is just for the registration process, but that's completely confidential. It doesn't go outside our facility, and it doesn't even go to the second person within our company itself.
That's really interesting. So you don't have KYC, know your customer regulations, like a bank would?
As I mentioned, we do take your national identity card, and we do keep the system updated, but that's more of a system process. It doesn't go to a second person out of that person who have registered you in the system.
Okay, but do you have rules around who can and can't store with you?
No. Anybody can store. It doesn't have to be a resident. It can be an expat. It can be, who just travel here for 3 days, who can come and store with us. So there is no absolute. And that's what I've mentioned about accessibility and convenience. So we just don't want to limit like the bank does.
What about how I get in and out to make sure it's me? What's the tech? Are you using biometrics here?
Right. So you're asking me the right question. So I've started off with, we obviously wanted to make a difference into the traditional model. So that's where we have come with an ASDB model. By ASDB, what I mean is automatic safe deposit box, right? So this is this is a completely modern facility where you do not enter into a large room where you get to see thousands of boxes. That's how the bank operated. That's how the traditional safe deposit boxes. When you come into a MySafe facility, you will only get to see an ATM kind of a machine, and you have a 4-layer authentication that starts with a MyFair card, a biometric WIN authentication, and then a 4-digit code, and all of that is being cleared, authenticated. Your box automatically, the robot will deliver to you. And the only boxes you will have access to you is your own box. You will not get to see anyone else's box in our facility. And then once all of this is done, you will have a key to open the box, and then this is completely happening in a privacy port area. So until you finish off your business in that particular area, nobody else will enter into that particular privacy port.
And is that 24/7 if I want to roll
It's
at 3 in the
24/7
morning?
for sure, and it's 24/7, and we could operate it 24/7 because of this stop technology.
You mentioned there the robot delivering.
Yeah.
What's the largest thing I could leave with you? Could I leave a car?
There's nothing that you could leave with us, because obviously when you, for example, you cancel the box, our security officers will ensure that everything has been taken back by the customers.
Oh, no, I meant as in what's the largest box you have? What's the largest item you could take?
So we have 170 This is in width, which I'm saying. So it can take up to 25 kgs of metal. But it differs into the volume of the kind of items which you're going to store it, but it can take up to 25 kgs.
But you mentioned there, and that's really interesting, when I cancel the box, you make sure I get my stuff back. What if I don't cancel it? What if I just disappear?
Of course. So we have our terms and conditions on our close where it says that if a customer is not responding for a 90 days of period, we have every right to confiscate that box by way of drilling, and obviously we keep all the audit trails by way of doing that.
Drilling?
Yeah.
Into the box?
Correct.
What happens if I pass away?
Well, the box is then taken to the legal, like any other legal matters we have at the banking facility.
And how much am I paying for this service?
So the service, it ranges from 1,000 for a quarter to 9,000 for an annum, and this is for the smallest to largest. To speak of an average rental per annum is somewhere around 6,500 AED.
And do people usually rent by the month or by the year? Do they just pop it in and keep it?
70% of the customers chooses to be annum or more than 1 year. And to back that up, once a customer is onboarded, that customer is retained 95%. So by that I mean that the cancellation rate is less than 10%.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Jasper Rashid is the CFO of MySafe, talking to us about the growing demand for keeping stuff securely.